Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Year 7 Curriculum Information podcast. I do hope that you're keeping safe and well. The purpose of this podcast is to provide you with important information about life at Formby High School related to the curriculum, pastoral care and safeguarding, and other important things, for example, to do with attendance, assessment and communication with school. I hope you find the information really helpful. You'll hear from several people, including Mrs. Eady, who's the Year 7 Climate for Learning leader, Mr. Cook, Senior Assistant Head Teacher, Mrs. Blanchard, Deputy Head Teacher, and Mrs. Parkinson, who is Assistant Head Teacher. And I hope you find the information that they share with you very helpful. So your sons and daughters have now been with us for coming up to half a term. I hope that they've settled in. I hope they've enjoyed the first part of the journey through Formby High School. The purpose of this first half term has been about establishing routines, helping them to settle and to cope with the transition from primary school to secondary school, and also keeping them safe and well in this very different environment in which we currently operate. Students have been based in the sixth form centre and most of their lessons have taken place there. They tend to come out for PE and across to the dining room for lunch, but otherwise they're based in separate rooms in the sixth form centre. And that seems to have worked well, and they seem to have responded very well to the expectations that have been placed on them. Have to say that it's a joy to have them in school. They've added another dimension, and it's been great to get to know lots of them over the course of the last half term. And I hope your first experience of Formby High School has been a positive one, particularly if you are a new parent. As I said, it's the beginning of a journey, and they're half a term or 8 weeks in. And the journey will last up to the end of year 11 and possibly then into sixth form. And most of our students at the end of year 11 make the decision to remain to study A-levels and vocational qualifications in our sixth form. In years 7 and 8, broadly speaking, students follow the national curriculum. It's a broad, deep curriculum, giving them a rich learning experience and preparing them well for what lies ahead. They should find it interesting, engaging and challenging, and it's very knowledge focused. It's about developing the knowledge, understanding and skills they'll require to succeed at GCSE and beyond. When students get to year 9, they start to be able to make some choices. We call year 9 our discovery year, and in year 9 they can make some decisions about which subjects they perhaps don't wish to continue and other subjects which they would like to continue with the possibility of going on to study at GCSE. And the year 9 discovery options provide a broad range of choices. For example, students can choose to study music, drama, dance, art, business studies, environmental science, creative eye media, computer science. We also offer a course in sports leadership. We offer another course called the Higher Project Qualification, which is a subject designed to challenge students' interests around English and classical literature. And there's a really broad range of choice. And the purpose of the Discovery Year is to allow students to discover in order to make informed choices about what they'll go on to do at GCSE. Students will make their GCSE options choices in the second half of year 9 in readiness for GCSE courses to begin in year 10. And the GCSE programme is a 2-year programme with students taking examinations at the end of year 11. The only exception to this is religious studies, and students sit this GCSE a year early at the end of year 10 in order to give them the experience of taking one GCSE and enable them to learn from that experience and make any changes they feel they may need to make in preparation for taking the bulk of their exams at the end of year 11. And at the end of Year 11, in August of Year 11, students will receive an envelope, and that envelope will contain their GCSE grades, which nowadays are graded 9 being the highest, all the way down to grade 1. And as you make your journey through Formby High School with your sons and daughters, we'll provide more information to you about what happens during Key Stage 4, during years 10 and 11. And what I'd want to emphasise is that you're not alone on this journey, and your children are not alone as well. There's a really strong team of people around them in order to provide the support that they're going to require. Lots of you will have had the opportunity to speak with Mrs. Eady, the Year 7 Climate for Learning leader, or Mrs. Baker, the member of the pastoral support team who's been assigned to Year 7. I know that you will have had contact with your child's form tutor, who should be your first point of contact. And we have lots of other people who are involved in the process of providing support as well, not least your child's teachers, the wellbeing team, the team within the Special Educational Needs Department, and of course the senior leadership team, who will always be on hand to deal with any concerns that you may have. And I hope you feel in these early stages that there is a strong sense of partnership, and that partnership will only continue to grow as your child makes his or her journey through school. Much time was spent over the summer break preparing the site for students to return in September. We've worked really hard to ensure that the school is a safe and healthy environment for students and staff to work in the current climate. You may be aware from speaking with your child that Year 7 are based in the Sixth Form Centre. This is what we call the Year 7 bubble, and most of their lessons take place in the Sixth Form Centre, with them leaving the bubble for PE lessons and to have their lunch in the school dining room. Otherwise, lessons are classroom based and organised across the different rooms in the Sixth Form Centre and the 2 mobile classrooms nearby. Within lessons, students and teachers follow the safe classroom protocol, which means they sit facing forward. There's an expectation in terms of wiping down their work area at the end of the lesson, around not sharing equipment, and other important measures that you can see on the screen. Have to say, the students have adapted really well to these changes and the expectations that have been placed on them, and we're really pleased with their response and what they're doing to keep themselves safe. And I hope this provides reassurance to you that when you send them to school, you're sending them to somewhere that is as safe as can be, and we've done as much as we can to reduce the likelihood of the infection spreading. I hope the first few weeks has been a positive experience for you. Look forward to working with you closely over the course of the coming months and years, and look forward, when the current situation is over, to having the opportunity to meet you face to face. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Eady. I'm Climate for Learning leader for Year 7, and I'm going to talk you through the next few slides. I've been delighted with the way the students have settled in. They've done really well so far. This first slide shows some of the expectations that we have for our students. Organisation is a big factor to ensuring that the day or the week runs smoothly. We encourage students to check class charts daily to ensure that homework is completed on time. They should have a copy of their timetable available at home, maybe on your fridge, so they can pack their bags with all that they need for the following day. Resilience is a life skill that we actively encourage here at Formby High. We hope that students will learn to persevere even when things are not always easy. This obviously makes their successes feel even better and they can succeed. You'll notice that they do a lot of growing up over the next few months as we move through Year 7 and they develop their independence. Part of this includes meeting lots of new people and is about learning to treat their peers with respect. We teach them that if somebody is unkind, they have 2 choices: tell somebody or ignore it. Our students have had a lot of challenges since March, not least of all joining us at Formby High this term. They've coped brilliantly, and I have high hopes that they will continue to embrace all the opportunities to come. Attendance is an area I'm passionate about. I pride myself that Year 7's attendance is usually somewhere up around 99%. We encourage you to ensure they attend every day unless seriously unwell. Appointments, where possible, should be kept out of school, but when this is unavoidable, we'd expect them to attend before and after the appointment. Obviously, if they're unwell during the day, we would ring you and let you know. Punctuality is really important, as lots of key messages are shared in the tutor period. It's vital they are present. Students have realised they need to be in their tutor rooms for 8:55, so arriving at the gate at that time is far too late. They're doing really well this week. The Year 7 school day is organised as you can see on the slide. They are becoming very familiar with their routines, and we're now encouraging them to avoid leaving lessons to use the bathrooms. This way we can ensure learning is not interrupted. We ask that the students come with all the equipment shown on this slide every day. They will be expected to use it frequently in lessons. Regular checks are completed in school, and I would ask that you check this with them, perhaps over the weekend, so that any replacements necessary can be purchased and packed for the following week. I'm sure that you have seen the journals that we provided on their first day. This contains key information, and it also provides a place for them to record their timetable and any passwords, such as for class charts. Part of our reward system involves students earning merits, which lead to badges. I'm delighted to report that nearly all students have now earned their bronze badge, and many are already well on their way to earning their silvers. They should be congratulated for this. The Parent Handbook, which you can find on our school website, is a really useful guide if you have any queries about our routines or how to deal with issues. Please don't hesitate to give me an email though if you're unsure. It's been nice talking to you.
Hello everybody, Mr. Cook here. My section of the podcast is all about classroom matters, curriculum and timetable, and all things extracurricular. We're going to start by talking about our timetable, which by now you'll know is a 2-week timetable. We operate 49 lessons over the fortnight. We have 7 lessons of English, 7 lessons of maths, 6 lessons of science, and then adding on to that within our EBAC subjects, history, geography and Spanish, which is our modern language, 4 lessons of each of those, PE for 4 lessons, ICT for 3 lessons or computing, music, drama for 2 lessons each. We have a carousel of art, design and technology. So you'll see on the students' timetables a termly rotation of art, design thinking and food technology. And then we have 2 lessons of rave, religious and values education, and 1 fortnightly lesson of respect, which is our PHSE and citizenship curriculum. You'll also realise that after half term, we've introduced some setting into Year 7, and so we now have setting arrangements for half year groups, 3 on one half, 4 on the other, for English and for maths. Now, class charts will be something new to you this term, and hopefully by now you've got into grips with using the app on your phone or the computer. You'll be able to track students' rewards points, and a lot of them are now up to their silver badges. We can track homework and monitor homework on a daily and a weekly basis. So you'll be able to see when homework is set by a teacher, when it's due and whether it's being completed. And then we also have messaging functions and announcements within class charts as well. So students can message their teachers if they have any particular queries or issues, and teachers can send general announcements to groups or whole year groups. Establishing good routines for homework is really important in Year 7. Homework can be a range of activities set by the teachers. It could well be extension work that follows on from a topic that's been discussed in class. It could be work to reinforce or go over information that's been introduced in a lesson. It could be learning facts for an assessment or a quick quiz or a test, independent research, special projects over an extended period of time, individual practice in creative and practical subjects, or even revision for an assessment. The frequency of homework is very much dependent on how many lessons the students will get over a fortnight. As you can see from this table, English, Maths and Science, we could probably expect a piece of 45-minute to an hour of homework every 2 weeks. History, Geography, Spanish every 3 weeks. Rave every 6 weeks. Computing every 4 weeks. And then Art, Design, Technology, Cooking, Nutrition, Drama and Music once every half term. For those students who might want to complete homework during school time, we have 2 opportunities for Year 7s. On a Monday to Thursday evening for an hour after school in our OTC IT room upstairs in the Sixth Form Centre where Year 7 are based at the moment. We have our Study Plus Homework Club, which is staffed by our teaching assistants, and they'll be able to offer support for the students as well as access to computers and printing. We also have our pop-up library, which is available each day after school at the back of our OCR space within the Sixth Form Centre as well. And Mrs Ambrose is there to help the students navigate the library and find books, etc. Now, our remote classroom system probably won't be too familiar to parents of Year 7 at the moment, but in the event of a year group bubble closure, lessons for individual teaching groups will be set by teachers using class charts. However, for individual student absences, for maybe self-isolation reasons, we'll be posting a fortnightly shadow curriculum on our school website. There is a link on the home page for easy access. Now, work has been set by curriculum leaders across the school, and it will mirror the content of work covered in class during that fortnight. And it may include things like a Loom video with a narrated voice of the teacher over the slides. It may be some instructions to go to a location on the S Drive on the school network, or directions to complete some online learning. Our extracurricular programme has been on and off this term. We had an easy, gentle opening in October for some PE and creative arts activities. Booking for that was all online via our Eventbrite system. This has allowed us to develop good systems for tracking and monitoring attendance, as well as establishing really clear health and safety guidelines. We hope to relaunch this in the new year with a few additional activities, all being well. Many of you will already know about our ELF production, which has been on the go since probably October now. We've had a number of live rehearsals in school in our little bubbles of the company. And we've also been having some online rehearsals using Microsoft Teams. We're really hoping that everything will get back on track in the new year. Filming will take place at the end of January, beginning of February, with our big online launch later that month. Finally, our new school parliament is up and running, and after quite a busy time in the first half term, we elected 2 members of our school parliament for every tutor group in Year 7. They've been meeting regularly with Mrs Wake and Mr Silcock. We've also had hustings and elections for members of our junior leadership team, and they're now in place, and they've been busy meeting as well this term. And all the students who are members of our school parliament have been helping out with some charity events and project development work over the past month. We're really looking forward to see what ideas they have for other charity work and events later in the year. It's now time to pass on to Mrs Parkinson.
Teachers use a variety of quality first teaching methods to regularly assess student progress. This slide shows some of the strategies that we may use amongst others. The aim of all of our assessment methods is to look at what has been learned and what do students know. This in turn will help us to identify what they do not know and therefore better support us in filling in gaps of knowledge with students. Homework also forms a valuable part of our curriculum and as such is used by teachers when assessing progress. This is in addition to classroom-based work. Marking and feedback may be written or verbal, and often within practical subjects such as PE and art, there is a great deal more verbal than written feedback. This often allows students to make instant improvements in the classroom and therefore aids their progression. Feedback is always provided with an aim to allow students to move forward. With this support and guidance, students may be able to generate their own feedback in the future and therefore become more independent learners. There are a number of ways that we will communicate with you during this academic year regarding your child's progress as shown. On the screen to the left is an example of a tweet-style report that you will receive in summer term this academic year. The report provides clear, succinct information on your child's progress. This report measures progress against the achievement bands that you will receive from us, alongside a guide to how your child works in relation to their effort, their organisation and behaviour during lessons. In addition to these reports, you will also receive a shorter report this term that does not include a comment from class teachers, however does include progress information for your son or daughter. We will aim to host a parents' evening during the spring term, and this will allow you to meet your child's teachers. The details of this will be sent to you nearer the time. As this year is slightly different to normal with the lack of SATs at primary school, students in Year 7 are undertaking CAP 4 tests this term. These tests will help us to understand how children learn and to understand what their future potential may be. The tests are being carried out across 3 lessons in school and are predominantly being taken in computing lessons. The results of these tests will not be sent home and will be used for internal purposes only. During this term, we will issue your child with an achievement band for each subject at GCSE. This will be accompanied by a letter explaining how this is used by us in school. You will notice that GCSE examinations are now graded using numbers and not letters, as shown in the table on the right-hand side of this slide. You will also notice that some grades, for example, a grade B and C, overlap across 3 of the new grades 4, 5 and 6. There are fewer grade 9s awarded than A stars, and anyone who achieves a grade 9 has performed exceptionally.
The Year 7 safeguarding team consists of Mrs Blanchard, designated safeguarding lead, and Mrs Eady, deputy safeguarding lead. Should the students have any concerns on a day-to-day basis, Mrs Baker is available in the Year 7 office to support with any queries, concerns or safeguarding issues. Now that students have moved on from primary school, we expect them to take responsibility for their own choices and set themselves the highest expectations of a Formby High School pupil. We have a tick system in place which helps students to make the right behaviour choices in lessons, ensuring that everybody can learn. Outside of lessons and in the local community, we also expect that students demonstrate the highest standards of behaviour and act as ambassadors at all times for our school. New for 2020 are our Year 7 Bubble Basics. These are the non-negotiable rules we've put in place to keep students and staff safe through the global pandemic. Please take some time to go through the Bubble Basics with your sons and daughters to make sure that they're absolutely clear how we can all act as a community together to keep everybody safe. Alongside our Bubble Basics, our 4x4 behaviour expectations are the key areas we feel students need support with in order to thrive in 2020. Mental health and physical health are equally important, and should your son or daughter have any concerns in either area, please speak to us. Routines help students to thrive. They help students to feel safe and they help students to feel secure. One of the most important routines is that students follow the Bubble Basics, but they also start to take responsibility for sleeping well, getting to school on time, making sure they've got a coat on rainy days, all the things that make their day-to-day life a little bit easier. We have a very simple motto: work hard, respect yourself, respect others. We encourage students to reflect on their behaviour, to take responsibility, to put things right and to move on. It may be that we have a partial bubble closure or a full bubble closure, in which case home learning becomes incredibly important. Class charts is the way that we will communicate work during these times. Please check your Class Charts Parents app at the moment to see how things are going in terms of behaviour and rewards. The homeschool agreement is an important part of our positive working relationship. Please read this carefully and understand that in signing it, we're all agreeing to do our part to make sure that your sons and daughters have a really successful time at Formby High School. Keeping children safe online is one of the most important parts of our job. E-safety is covered within the computing curriculum. However, most of the access that students will come across regarding the internet takes place in the home. Please use parental controls, monitor devices in settings, and talk to your child in order to make sure that they get all of the information they need to stay safe online. This is even more important if we were to go into a partial closure or full closure, as your sons and daughters will be accessing the internet far more frequently. Please encourage your sons and daughters to walk to school wherever possible. Not only is this great exercise, but it also allows time for students to chat, make friends, and start to get to know their peers within the school. We do struggle with parking spaces, and we would ask that you don't turn into the school drive and, where possible, park as well away from school as you can. If your son and daughter is cycling to school, please ensure that they're wearing their helmets and that their bike is legal with the lights on. It's also imperative that they lock their bikes up within the bike shed.
Thanks very much, Mrs. Blanchard. Back to me. So we're just going to finally wrap things up with a few bits of information about communications. So by now, you should be well versed with accessing our school website, www.formbyhighschool.com. Hopefully, you have signed up to follow our Twitter account @FormbyHigh. And if you haven't, please do so, because that's a great way to keep in touch and find out about all the good news. We're constantly adding new content to our YouTube channel, including this video. And you'll also be accessing your Parent Pay, Parent Mail and Class Charts accounts. So that's all, folks. That's the end of our first Year 7 podcast of the year. Thank you very much to Mr. Mackenzie, Mrs. Eady, Mrs. Blanchard and Mrs. Parkinson for their input. Please contact us at school if you've got any further questions or queries. Thanks ever so much.